welcome back. So let's talk about education and Nigeria's policy and how, education is faring under this administration. And joining us on this particular segment is Mr. Gafar Umar, is the communications lead at Naijasolve, a development company. He joins us right here in our Lagos studio. Mr. Gafar, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Okay, so let's start with infrastructure in the education sector, particularly as it has to do with the current administration. What are your observations based on the development work that you do in terms of improvement, in more investment in construction, renovations of classrooms? What are your observations?
Okay, thank you. I realize that in a lot of schools, especially government-owned schools and primary schools, there are not a lot of attention that are being given to them. And you realize, for example, in Lagos, I got to a school some times ago in the part of Imota, and then the school was really looking so bad, dilapidated, children, primary school children, very young children in school sitting on the floor and just languishing around, no items, board. They're still using black this charcoal board in 2025, and it's just so ridiculous that the state of the infrastructures in our schools are still like that today. And we need to be I think it's very important to note that primary education is compulsory for all children, right? It's compulsory, and according to the UNICEF out-of-school children report of 2022, it says over 10.2 million Nigerians are out of school. Children are out of school, and that's for the primary school, and for the junior secondary school about 8.2 million. And why is this? So? There's a project in Bayelsa State, where a young girl is working on rehabilitation of the school that she was posted to. Majority of the students in that school are not coming around again, and that was why she picked interest in it. And because there are no spaces to sit, there are no chairs, furniture, and all of that, so people sit on the floor. Because of that, they felt like they were not getting enough attention, and they just go to do something else. And this happens so much in our rural areas. Out of school children happen so much in rural areas where nobody is being given attention to them. And because of this, people that you're trying to motivate to beg to go to school, and you're not providing the necessary supports in terms of infrastructure, they would eventually just lose out and just feel like they can do something else, maybe go do their farming, or maybe go do just something else aside from education. And we know the ripple effect of this. If we continue to not pay attention, if the government continues not to pay attention to the children and out of school children, the ripple effect is going to be unsafe area. We're going to have students, we're going to have people languishing around, causing unrest in the community. When you have schools that is not unsafe, is not properly fenced, you're going to have bandits coming in, kidnapping children, and the ripple effect goes on and on and on. And I just believe it's very important that as a society, as a people, we begin to pay more attention to these things, and maybe even leaving the government to what the government is doing, and start looking for solutions ourselves, and that's typically what we what we do at our organization.
Yeah, Mr. Gafar, so maybe on a lighter note, first of all, you mentioned the fact that in 2025, 21st century, we are still using the blackboard,
yes,
and chalk. And we find ourselves in this part of the world where we believe that, look, you have to go through some of those very rigorous training and environments because it makes you who you are, it makes you, a Nigerian. And when you get out there to the world, you always show them that, of what stuff you're made of. But when you also look at the environment here, does that also affect the quality of our education? Because I'm asking that because the average Nigerian who leaves the shores of this country abroad, the average Nigerian always performs excellently well. That's what we see. That somebody is struggling here, he jackpass, he leaves the shores of this country, and then he's performing excellently well.
So you ask yourself, what's really driving that? Yes, our education sector is, maybe we are getting, I wouldn't say we are even getting, enough as far as education is concerned. For example, a typical science student, even if you are very good with the theoretical aspects, theoretical aspect of what you are doing, you are nowhere as far as practical is concerned. And we've seen this, seen this testimonial over and over, where people say, they went for their masters or their PhD, and they're struggling with basic equipment because back home they don't have all of these things, but they know it, they can draw it, they can visualize it, but they've never had to undo some of these things, and it takes them a lot of time to be able to catch up. And then when we say they are doing very well, what is driving them? A lot of people have been driven by by the community that they come from, the poverty that they are, in the background that they have, and even because they don't want to go back to the situation that they were before. So they just put in that extra effort. As an average Nigerian puts in a lot of effort into whatever he or she is doing, because they know where they are coming from, and they want to have a better life. And I think that's what's driving us. It's not necessarily our educational sector that is so great that we are now doing so well. A typical university undergraduate, I was just talking to my friend. I'm like, if you go to a university in Nigeria and your lecturer gives you the course curriculum, you can actually just write all the exams and pass. Because the honest truth is that how many times are lecturers coming into class? What is the capacity of the class? There, in my 100 level, we have a hall that takes over 1,000 people. And trust me, aside from the first 2 rows, how else are students listening? There's no megaphone. There's no convenient PAS system to have these classes. And you just find out that students just taking this course curriculum, go on their own, make their research, study for these exams, and then they come to write the exam. So if you go to a university today, they give you the course curriculum, even without a lecturer coming into your class, you're going to literally pass the exams because you are doing it anyways on your own. So, I mean, yeah.
All right.
I'm just wondering if it is that self-improvement that you talk about that makes, Naija products do exceptionally well when they go abroad.
Yeah,
or there's something also that remains good about our education system. Speaking of which, the new curriculum that is being developed by the administration is talking about, the adoption of computer-based tests, and there are concerns over that. Art students no longer require, mathematics as a compulsory subject, but doesn't mean that they won't take it. Yes, we've had that clarification from the Ministry of Education. I wonder how this prepares Nigerian students for the modern world. How do you see these policies?
The intentions are good, but we would ask ourselves, what are the preparations? I heard the WAEC could start writing CBT, still start writing WAEC CBT, and it's so unfortunate. While I was writing my JAMB, I got into the hall, and the lady beside me, she was jilting. I mean, she cannot even press the mouse. She couldn't use the mouse. Some of us have that opportunity while growing up. Maybe our parents have enrolled us into a computer school, by the house, or maybe you have the opportunity to attend a school that, you use computer system and all of that. But if you look at an average, government school, government-owned school, you realize that majority of them, even if they have, a computer lab or a computer system, they don't use it. I can tell you for free, you can do a tour around some schools in Lagos, government school in Lagos. You realize that the computer labs are usually locked. They're under lock and key. The system with the nylon that came with, when and some of these things are being donated by organizations. They are being donated by maybe even the schools. But the very day they finish the launching, they lock it up. And then wait for the next day, there's going to be a ceremony or an event before they open it up. So it's unfortunate that we want to. The intention is good, yes, because we need to compete with the global market. However,
how would that work in rural areas where internet is still a problem?
That's it. I heard they're going to do the model they use for JAMB, where they move students from one school to another. Meaning now parents have to struggle with transporting their children from their community schools to maybe neighboring communities where they have these computer systems where they can write their WAEC and transportation. And the most importantly is these children are not confident enough in front of the computer system. one, even if they understand what they are going to write, they know the mathematics, the algebra and everything, they are not able to even use the system to impute whatever they have learned or they've studied. So I'm scared. I don't know what the WAEC result is going to be after the first CBT exam.
So you run an organization that provides solutions in a number of sectors.
Yeah.
So from the solution approach, what recommendations are you offering to some of these challenges in the education sector?
Yeah, I mean, we look at it as we say in our organizations. It is well will not solve Nigerian problem, because most times when we talk about Nigerian problem, everyone's like, oh, it is well, oh. So it won't solve Nigeria's problem, and that's why as individuals, as organizations, we brought ourselves together, just a group of young people, thinking that we need to find a solution to this problem. But particularly in the education sector, we are supporting schools in rural areas. The example I gave earlier is one of our CSM. We call them Community Solutions Manager in Bayelsa State. She's rehabilitating a school in Bayelsa, ensuring that we're providing schools with furnitures, good writing materials, boards, rehabilitating the environment to ensure that the school is conducive, because that's the number one thing. If the environment you want to learn, if this place is not nice, you won't even be on this show, having a great show this morning. Right. So, we to have an amazing environment where students can learn and then able to get the adequate knowledge to succeed eventually. So that's what we are doing, and then we're inviting a lot of people to
in 10 seconds or less. When you look at the federal government, leave the Lagos state government, you've hit them enough. But at the federal level, on a scale of 1 to 10, how intentional do you think the federal government is about the quality of Nigeria's education on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, I think maybe 5. They are bringing up a lot of policies, but I'm not seeing a lot of work, hard work go into that. So policies, yes, but hard work needs to go into it as well. All
right. Thank you for the insights that you have brought to this conversation.
Yeah.
An important one at that. Mr. Gafar Umar is the the communications lead at Naijasolve. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
All right. So many, what would you call it now, nuggets that we've taken from the show today. Almost does not kill a bird, and it is well will not solve Nigeria's problem. Thank you for being a part of the show today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Sunrise Daily is up next, by the way. I am Bukola Koka.
From Lagos, Nigeria, I am Kelly Egiga. Have a productive Tuesday.